I want you to picture the absolute worst night of sleep you've ever had.
Oh, that's easy.
You know, maybe a cheap motel with a broken AC, or you're stuck on a red-eye flight. And now imagine thinking, you know what would make this better? A walk.
A rock.
Literally. This jagged piece of granite looks perfect. I think I'll use that as my pillow.
That sounds less like a good night's sleep and more like a trip to the chiropractor.
You would think, but for one famous fugitive about 3,000 years ago, that exact scenario led to one of the most famous dreams in human history. We are talking about Jacob's ladder.
A phrase that has just completely saturated our culture. It's everywhere.
It really is. I mean, you say Stairway to Heaven, and half the room thinks Led Zeppelin, the other half...
The fitness junkies.
Yes. The fitness people think of that cardio machine, the Jacob's ladder. It's like this never-ending treadmill climber.
I've seen those. And it's so ironic because the FBI and pro football teams use it for conditioning. But Jacob, in the original story, he wasn't an athlete.
Not at all. He was a quiet man, the text says. A homebody.
Right, staying among the tents.
Well, that's what we're doing today. We're taking all this research, ancient Near Eastern history, Hebrew language notes, theological commentaries, and we're going way beyond the Sunday school version.
Because this story is so much more than just a weird dream. It's about a cosmic connection, a rivalry with the Tower of Babel, and it connects directly to the New Testament.
It's incredibly dense, and to really get it, you have to understand the dreamer's state of mind, because Jacob isn't on some, holy pilgrimage.
No, he's not seeking God.
He's running for his life.
Literally.
Okay, so let's set the scene from Genesis 28. He is fleeing his twin brother, Esau, and for very good reason.
Well, yeah. He just committed, the ultimate identity theft. He tricked his blind father Isaac into giving him the blessing that belonged to Esau.
It's a massive family fallout. Esau basically says, as soon as my father dies, I'm going to kill my brother Jacob.
This isn't just a sibling squabble. It is a legitimate death threat.
So his mom, Rebecca, she's the one who tells him, go, flee to my brother Laban's house in Haran. Now, I was looking at the map for this route. He's starting in Beersheba,
which is way down south, the southern edge of the Promised Land.
And he's heading to Haran, which is on the modern-day border of Syria and Turkey. It's a huge journey.
Hundreds and hundreds of miles. On foot.
And looking at that map, something just jumped out at me. He's going the wrong way.
What do you mean the wrong way?
Think about his grandfather, Abraham. The entire story of their family started when Abraham left Haran to come to the Promised Land.
Ah. And Jacob is doing that journey in reverse.
Exactly. It's like a reverse Abraham. Abraham left his family to follow God's call into the land. Jacob is leaving the land to run back to this family.
That's a huge theological point. He is, in a way, walking out of the promise, out of the sphere of blessing and into exile.
And the motivation is completely different. Abraham moved on a divine call. Jacob is moving out of pure fear.
He's not being led, he's being chased.
It just changes everything. And the text really highlights how alone he is. I mean, later in life, Jacob has these huge caravans, wives, kids, livestock.
Right, even when he goes to Egypt, Pharaoh sends royal carts for him. But here...
he's got nothing, just himself, a single man, totally vulnerable.
Which brings us to a certain place, as the text puts it. He just stops, the sun goes down, he's exhausted, probably terrified. Esau is right behind him.
He grabs that stone, puts it under his head, and he's out. And then the dream begins.
Genesis 28, verse 12. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder was set on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven.
Okay, let's stop on that word ladder, because I think we all picture, an extension ladder from the garage. But the scholarship says that's probably not the right image, is it?
It's definitely a tricky translation. The Hebrew word is sulam. It only shows up this one time in the whole Bible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And most scholars looking at the Mesopotamian context argue it's much more like a stairway or a ramp.
A ziggurat, like those ancient temples.
Exactly like a ziggurat, those massive stepped pyramids. The whole idea was that God lived at the top, and the stairway was the bridge between the human and the divine.
So Jacob is dreaming of this massive piece of divine infrastructure.
And there's traffic on it.
Yeah.
Angels of God ascending and descending.
Wait, okay, I have to flag that. The order is weird. It says they are ascending first, then descending.
It seems backwards, doesn't it?
Totally backwards. If they're God's angels, they come from heaven. Shouldn't they come down before they go up?
That little detail has fascinated commentators for centuries. Why do they start on Earth?
I saw one theory from Rashi, the medieval Jewish scholar. He called it a changing of the guard.
The shift change theory. I love that. The idea is that Jacob had angels assigned to protect him within the land of promise.
Hmm.
Let's call them the Israel team.
Okay.
But now he's leaving. So the Israel team is ascending. They're clocking out.
And the international travel team is descending to take over his security detail.
It's a beautiful thought. It means even when he felt completely alone, he was never, ever unaccompanied. The entourage just switched shifts.
There's another layer here, too, with the ziggurat idea. You can't see a giant stairway to heaven in Genesis without thinking about.
The Tower of Babel.
Yes, it's an unavoidable parallel. Genesis 11, you have Babel. Genesis 28, you have this. Both are structures connecting earth and heaven.
But the direction of intent is the complete opposite. At Babel, humanity says, "Come, let us build a tower."
Right, let us make a name for ourselves. Babel was human arrogance trying to climb its way up to God.
It was an assault on heaven, basically. Man trying to get to God on our own terms.
And here, Jacob didn't build a thing. He's just a guy sleeping on a rock. He didn't even ask for this.
And that's the whole point. Babel is man reaching for God. Bethel is God reaching for man. This stairway is a gift of grace. God is the builder.
Which makes who is standing at the top even more stunning. The Lord himself is there. Now, if I'm Jacob, I am absolutely terrified.
Did we expect a lecture?
A huge one. Hey, you, the liar and the cheat, I saw what you did, but that's not what he gets.
Not at all. He gets a promise. God introduces himself. "I am the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac." And then instead of revoking the solemn blessing, he confirms it.
He gives him the whole Abrahamic covenant, the big three: land, descendants, and blessing.
Yep. He says, "The land on which you lie, I will give to you."
Which is so ironic since he's literally in the process of running away from that land.
It shows the promises for the future. Then he promises descendants, like the dust of the earth, and that all the families of the earth will be blessed through him.
And it's wild that God chooses this moment to do this. Jacob hasn't done anything to earn it.
That's the scandal of grace, right? The covenant is based on God's faithfulness, not Jacob's. But then God adds a line just for him, right where he is. "Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go."
I am with you. For a guy who just lost his entire family and support system, that has to be the most powerful sentence possible.
It's the guarantee of presence. God basically says, "I'm not leaving you until I've done everything I promised." It's an unbreakable commitment.
So Jacob wakes up, and he's not like, wow, cool dream. He is terrified.
He's filled with awe, a holy dread. He says, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it."
I love that line. I did not know it. He thought he was in the middle of nowhere, some God-forsaken wilderness.
And he realizes he's actually at the gate of heaven. He names the place Bethel, House of God. But then look what he does with the pillow.
The rock. He takes it, sets it up like a pillar, and pours oil on it. Now, oil is for consecrating something, right? Like a priest or a king. But why a rock?
Okay, so this is where some amazing symbolism comes in.
Yeah.
We have notes from Justin Martyr, a 2nd century Christian philosopher. He saw this anointed stone as a clear symbol of Christ.
Because Christ means anointed one.
Exactly. The early church was always showing how Jesus was the fulfillment of these Old Testament pictures. And he had this theme of a stone all over. Psalm 118 talks about the stone the builders rejected becoming the cornerstone.
And Jacob is sort of the rejected one here. He's an outcast.
Right. And Jesus is later the stone rejected by his own people. So you get this incredible thread. The stone pillow becomes a stone memorial, which points to Christ, the ultimate foundation stone.
So after anointing the stone, Jacob makes a vow. And honestly, reading it, it kind of sounds like the old scheming Jacob is back.
How so?
Well, the phrasing is, if God will be with me, if he gives me food to eat, then the Lord will be my God.
It sounds like he's negotiating a contract.
Like a quid pro quo. You do these things for me, God, and you've got a deal.
Yeah. Is he trying to bargain with the Almighty?
And it's a fair question, given his track record. But a lot of Hebrew scholars argue that the word we translate as if can also mean since.
Oh, so it's not a condition, it's a response.
It could be read that way, more like, since you have promised to be with me and since you will give me what I need, then I declare that the Lord will be my God. He's claiming the promise he just received.
And he pledges 1/10 of everything back to God, which is huge. This is centuries before the law of Moses and tithing was commanded. It's this voluntary act of recognizing that if God is the source of everything, then God is the owner of everything.
It's a real turning point. But to really do a deep dive, we have to jump forward, way forward.
To the Gospel of John, chapter 1.
This was the part of the research that just made me stop and like stare at the wall. Jesus is gathering his disciples, and he meets a guy named Nathaniel.
And do you remember the first thing he says about him? "Behold, An Israelite in whom there is no deceit.
No deceit. That is a direct shot at Jacob, whose name is linked to deception. Nathaniel is the anti-Jacob.
It's so intentional. Jesus is setting the stage. And then he tells Nathanael, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man."
He's quoting Jacob's dream, the open heaven, the angels, but he swaps out the most important part.
He does. In Genesis, the angels are on a ladder, a sulam. In John, Jesus says they are ascending and descending on him.
So, wait, he's not just saying, I know where the ladder is. He's saying, I am the ladder.
That is the claim. And it's world-altering. It completely reorients the idea of sacred space. For all of history, you went to a place to find God. A mountain, a temple, Bethel.
And Jesus says the geography is now irrelevant.
Access isn't a place anymore. It's a person. He is the bridge. He is the connection point between heaven and earth.
This connects to that idea from our notes about God's homelessness. That feels like the thread that ties this whole thing together.
It's a beautiful arc through the whole Bible. In Eden, God walked with humanity. He was at home with us. Sin breaks that. So for most of the Old Testament, God is sort of restless. He's in a burning bush. He's in a mobile tent, the tabernacle.
Always on the move.
Right. Jacob names a place Bethel, house of God. But God doesn't ultimately want to live in a place made of stone.
He wants to live in people.
Exactly. So Jesus comes as the true ladder, the true temple. And then the New Testament takes it one step further and calls believers living stones.
Whoa. So we go from Jacob's stone pillow
To the memorial stone pillar.
to Jesus, the cornerstone.
To us, living stones who make up the house, we become the Bethel, the place where heaven and earth meet.
That reframes everything. The house of God isn't a building you visit on Sunday morning.
It's the people. Which means that promise to Jacob, I am with you wherever you go, gets fulfilled in a way he could never have dreamed. The ladder isn't just out there somewhere, you carry it with you.
That is really heavy. It changes how you see your office, your car, your kitchen.
It absolutely should. Jacob was floored to find God in what he thought was a wasteland. If we carry that presence, then there's no such thing as a God-forsaken place anymore.
It's funny, we started this joking about sleeping on a rock, but for Jacob, that hard place, that rock, it became the site of the greatest revelation of his life.
It's so often in those hard places, isn't it? The transitions, the running away, the uncertainty. That's where the veil between heaven and earth gets thin.
So here's the thought I want to leave everyone with. Maybe you feel like you're in that fugitive mode right now, in a transition, feeling like you messed up, just sleeping on a metaphorical rock.
And you think you're miles away from anything holy.
Remember Jacob? He thought he was in the middle of nowhere, but he was actually at the gate of heaven. The ladder isn't something you have to climb up.
It's designed for help to come down.
Oh.
So maybe just open your eyes. You could be at Bethel right now and not even know it.
Thanks for deep diving with us. We'll see you next time.